Hello and welcome to the Atomic Impact Podcast, designed to help business owners and leaders with short atomic episodes to impact your business for marketing, sales, business growth, personal growth, and much, much more. I'm your host, Jason Osborne, and I'm looking forward for your business and life to be positively impacted by this podcast. And as a thank you, just for listening, I'd like to give you free access to my LinkedIn mini course to help you get on the right track with LinkedIn to generate high quality leads without being spammy. All you need to do is go to www.impactforleads.com to get immediate access. Now, let's jump into today's episode. Hey, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Atomic Impact Podcast. My name is Jason Osborne, and it is an absolute pleasure to have you here listening. And if you're watching it as well. And listen, I want to use this session today just to chat through a little bit around why I'm starting this up. And I want to give a story of something that had a massive impact in my own life. And even to this day, I regularly think of it because of the impact it had. And I apply the principles I learned back when I was in my early 20s when this happened to what I'm doing now. So why am I doing the Atomic Impact Podcast? Let me give you a little bit of background about myself, where I am, and why we're doing this. So I'm from America. I'm originally from Texas, and I moved to the Republic of Ireland in my late 20s, and then moved to the north of England about 5 or 6 years after that. And I've been that's where I am currently now. So I have been out of the States for quite some time now. So my accent's all over the place a little bit, but I've always been very entrepreneurial in what I do. I had my first business when I was 20 back in Houston, and I was selling window coverings, and I learned loads and loads of stuff during that time. But when I moved to Ireland, I was looking to start up a business. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. When I moved there, I just got a job because I wanted to kind of find my feet. It was obviously new country, new culture, all of that sort of thing. And during that time, I was studying, not really studying, but kind of researching what types of businesses I wanted to go into. And I was really intrigued. Okay, this was when I was researching all of this. This was probably around 13, 14 years ago. And I was really intrigued with the whole online business model. What could you do with that? I was really intrigued with being able to have clients and prospects all over the world. And how did it work? How do you do that sort of thing? So I ended up studying as a life coach. I trained as a life coach and decided I would use that skill that I just learned to start marketing myself online. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I'd gone through a little bit of training and stuff like that, but I love the whole thing around online marketing, how you could connect with people all over the world and impact them. And within 18 months, I'd built up an email list of 9,000 people. I was coaching people in 13 countries, all of that sort of thing. Basically during that time, I got to know some kind of big names within the online marketing industry as well. And they said, oh, you should start teaching people how to do this now. And I didn't really know that I knew enough to teach other people. I was still just trying to build up my business. But I took their advice. That was about 11 years ago now. And I transitioned my business and started helping people online, and off and on in one way or another. Since that time, I have been helping people market themselves online, which brings us to today. So what I do in my business now is kind of twofold, and businesses always kind of change and evolve. But what I'm doing now is half of what I do is very, very much focused on LinkedIn marketing. So there's a lot of people out there talking about LinkedIn marketing and all that kind of stuff. It is a phenomenal platform, but a lot of people are doing it wrong. They're doing it really spammy. They're just using automation tools to spam people, and it's not the right way to do it. So I coach and mentor people, show people how to do that. SMEs, coaches, consultants, advisors, corporations, all that kind of stuff. So, and then the other side is I am contracted out with a very large social media training company, and I look over all their coaching programs. And so I'm just coaching and training people all the time, doing masterminds and all of that sort of thing. So, what leads us into this podcast? Well, over the last 6 months of 2020, I was a guest on a lot of podcasts and absolutely loved it. I enjoy it. I've been public speaking since I was 15, probably actually a little bit earlier than that. But obviously, with 2020 the way it was, with things being shut down, weren't really able to do any public speaking gigs and all that kind of stuff. So podcasting was just amazing to be able to do that. One of the things that I really loved about it is that I would get replies back from people from a story that I shared, whether it was specifically related to online marketing, LinkedIn, or whatever, or if the host of the podcast asked me about something during my life, what I learned from it, and how that impacted people. And I realized, all those little things impact people. It's those small little things that can make massive differences. So I decided, hey, let's start up the Atomic Impact podcast, where the idea is, and this is fluid, this may change over time, but the idea is to have short 15-minute, maybe 15 to 20-minute podcasts where have guests come on, whether I'm just on it myself like I'm now, or whether I have guests come on and we talk for 15, 20 minutes about something that has made a massive difference in their business or in their life. And I want to help business owners, business leaders through this podcast to be able to take those small little moments of impact that you learn from other people on this podcast and be able to apply it and have it impact your life as well. So that's why we're doing the Atomic Impact podcast. We're going to have topics that are quite varied. Everything from online marketing. Obviously, I'll be talking a lot about that, LinkedIn marketing, all those sorts of things. But we'll have stuff all the way from business growth, personal development, finance, little things that just impact our lives, either from a perspective of a business owner or leader, or from just our day-to-day lives. Okay. So that's why I'm doing this. And I hope that you get a lot of value out of this. If there's anything that you specifically would like to see as a topic on one of the podcasts, obviously send me a message, let me know that, and I will see if I can find a leader in that particular topic so we can chat through that. So let me take the next few minutes and I want to tell you about something that has impacted my life. There's loads of things. I'll share loads of stuff about my life over the series of these podcasts. But one thing, I was actually thinking about this the other day, talking to a client of mine, and I remembered this this story, this experience that I had in my life. I was in my early 20s, and I was technically self-employed. I was working for a company, but under self-employment in Houston. And what this company did is they basically kind of had franchises, for lack of a better word, all across the world, actually. But there was 3 or 4 of these within Houston, and I was working out of the one that was based in kind of South Houston area. And what they did is they would have a warehouse full of different products, and they'd have different stuff that was sent in, and it was either excess stock from companies or whatever. So it always varied whatever we were selling. And what we would do is we'd go in early in the morning. We would fill up our cars with these different products, and it was ranging anywhere from umbrellas, remote control cars. It was all kinds of different stuff. It was crazy, but we would fill up the cars. And then we would drive out to different places in Houston, and we would basically just walk around and sell these things. And I was always one of the top producers. And I really quite enjoyed it. You just you walked up to random people on the street. You'd walk into shops, you chat to them, you'd sell these things, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work, but it was a lot of fun. So one day, we teamed up with another one of the franchises in Houston, and we teamed up with them. And every quarter we did this. And I remember I was in this guy's car. Okay, so we went out to a place in Houston that was 99% Spanish speaking environment. Okay. So this area in Houston. Now, I spoke a little bit of Spanish. All right. My Spanish was better than the guy that I was with. He was in his early 20s as well. He was a little bit younger than me. Um, and we went out, and I, for whatever reason, was just not able to sell. I was getting really frustrated. I couldn't speak English. I was getting flustered with what I was doing with my Spanish, and it frustrated me so much. And I was like, oh, if I could just speak English and chat with people, I'd do fine. And it kept building and building my frustration around this. And this guy was selling stuff left, right, and center, right? I mean, it was crazy. And that was even frustrating me more because I was like, this guy's younger than me. His Spanish isn't even as good as mine, even though mine wasn't great. And this guy's selling stuff and I can't. And it just kept building and building and building and building. And I remember we ended up having lunch. It was probably about 12:30 in the afternoon. We went to KFC or something like that, sat down, and I was so annoyed, and he knew it. He could tell, and he's like, "Man, what's going on?" And so I started saying, "Oh, this and this," and I was complaining and all this sort of stuff. And this guy looked at me. And he said, "You know what?" He goes, "Can I be honest with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he said, "Dude, you're focusing on all the things you can't change." He goes, "You can't teach anybody out there English in a day, right? So you're not going to change that, and you you're trying to speak English, and you're getting frustrated with not being able to say the things in Spanish because you feel like you have to say everything you would in English in Spanish, and it's frustrating you and all this stuff." And he said, "You can't change any of that." And he said, "So don't try to change it. Just go out, have fun, have fun with the Spanish you can speak, laugh, make the people you're speaking to laugh. Just enjoy it. Enjoy your time." And he said, if you just do that and enjoy it, he goes, "I'm telling you, it'll make all the difference in the world." And I sat there. And we probably talked more during that lunch. We were probably at lunch for 30 minutes or something like that. I don't know. But I don't remember if we said anything else because that just kept going over and over and over in my head. And I thought, do you know what? The guy's right. I can't go anywhere because I'm in his, I traveled in his car, so I can't go anywhere. So here we go. I'm just going to go out there. I'm going to have fun. I can't change that. Uh, the things I'm frustrated with, but I can change my perspective of the situation. And that's exactly what I did. And I went out that afternoon and I just had fun. I was laughing with people. I was speaking the best Spanish I could possibly speak. And do you know what? I started selling like crazy. And I remember we met up about an hour before we needed to leave, me and this guy. And he was like, he's like, "How's it going?" I was like, "Man, I've sold this and this and this and this." He was blown. He's like, "Man," he goes, "You've almost sold as much as me the entire day in just like 4 hours." And I was like, "Man, I know, I'm just on a roll. I don't know. I'm just having fun." And that made such a massive impact in my own life around things where when I look at stuff now, I try to look at things and I go, "Do you know what? There's going to be frustrations in business. There's going to be frustrations in life. There's going to be all of these challenges that we go through, right? But we can't always change them. We can't always change the people we're dealing with. We can't always change the kind of circumstance in which we are finding ourselves in. However, we can change our perspective. We can change our approach to the situation. It may not be nice. It may not even be fun. All right. But we can change the way that we approach those situations. And when we do, it changes the situation. And oftentimes it can have us produce a different outcome than the way that we were looking at it before. So whether this applies to you where you are in your own business, or as a manager or leader in your business, or whether it's just something in your own life right now, look at the challenge you're going through right now. How can you change your perspective on it? How can you just have fun? Have fun in the situation that you may even be hating right now. But how can you have fun in that situation? Change it around. How can you change you so that at least you're able to go through this? Because I can guarantee you this, and this is what this is the kind of the really key point here is we were both in the same exact situation. We were in the same environment. He was younger than me. His Spanish was worse than mine, but we were in the same situation, same circumstance, but he was having better results than I was. So I knew that at the end of the day, it was me that was causing the problem, not everything else, because he was having better results than I was in the exact same situation. So when you go through and you're having these challenging times, remember that there are other people that are probably having worse challenging times than you, but are having better results because of the way they approach things, the way they perceive things and choose to focus on things. Doesn't mean ignore it. Doesn't mean that the problem isn't there. Doesn't mean like, oh, let's just have a positive attitude and avoid that, because that's not healthy either. But what can you do to change your own perspective right now to be able to move forward and have a better result and outcome in whatever situation you're finding right now? Hope that helped today. Thanks for listening to the first podcast of the Atomic Impact podcast. I look forward to many, many more times with you, and not only through the guests that I have on, but as I continue to add more episodes. And I will do some specific stuff around online marketing, LinkedIn marketing to help you out as well. Until next time, all the best. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Atomic Impact Podcast. And as a reminder, please go to www.impactforleads.com to get free access to my LinkedIn mini course to help you get on the right track with LinkedIn to generate high quality leads without being spammy. And please also like and share this episode with others and leave a comment, as I'd love to hear from you. This is Jason Osborne, and I look forward to sharing the next episode of the Atomic Impact Podcast with you.